Hey guys, PepperAmmy here. This week we are making Brunost, or brown cheese. Now this is a really simple cheese to make, although it's technically not even a cheese. Now all you'll need for this is 1 litre or 1 quart of fresh milk, and combine that with 1 litre or 1 quart of whey, optionally kept from another batch of your cheese, and 500 ml of cream, or around half a quart. Then you want to combine all of that in a pan, or as I'm doing, as this is a long process, I'm using a double boiler. Now this will greatly reduce the odds of burning the liquids. Now if you've ever boiled milk, you will know how easily it can catch on the bottom of your pan, but you can also use just a standard pan if you are feeling brave. Now if you want to use your double boiler, just simply place a large glass bowl over a large saucepan filled with water and place on a boil. Now a lot of the time making this cheese is waiting for the water to evaporate off the milk, whey and cream mix. Now this needs to be boiled for around 3 hours while it reduces down. Now this needs to be done also whilst you are stirring and mixing it, making sure it does not burn. Now using the double boiler is a lot safer, but it will take a lot longer. Now if you decide to check the water level of your double boiler, be careful because steam is gonna be hot, and even using a tea towel I managed to burn my finger pretty badly, and it's pretty much just been in water for most of the day. Now after around 2 hours of using the double boiler method, there was not much reduction in my personal case, so I chose to swap to a large shallow non-stick pan that can hold around 3 litres of liquids. Then I just turned the heat up, making sure it was on a nice boil. Now I did this for a few hours until the mix had reduced by at least 3/4 of what it was. At this point it will start to thicken somewhat, and if your heat is on high it will start to spit quite violently, so you want to reduce the heat and keep stirring. Now at this point you may want to choose to babysit the cheese. That's what I did. I just put some music on and just stood here stirring the cheese for a good hour or so. Now as this reduces down, it will become thicker and thicker. You are looking for a thickness where you can push the cheese around the pan. By this time the cheese should have become a light tan or brown colour. Now you can either stop whilst the cheese is a thick, wet kind of consistency for a nice spreadable style cheese, but over time the sugar crystals from the lactose in the cheese will start to form, and this can lead to a grainy texture. Now if you want to have a nice thicker cheese that you can possibly even cut, now you want to keep going until the cheese can roughly hold its shape when pressed with a spatula in the pan. Now you can optionally remove the cheese from the pan and place in a tub or a mould like I have done, or you can place it on a plate or in a bowl and let it cool and shape it by hand while it's still soft and cool down slightly, but as it cools it will become a lot firmer. Now the flavour of your Brunost will differ batch to batch depending on which whey you have used. If you've used one from an acidic batch of cheese, or if you've used it from a salty batch of cheese, or even if you've used yogurt whey from making different cheeses, or even just making yogurt. Now in my opinion this is a good thing, as you never always end up with the same sort of batch and it's always going to be slightly different, but if you do home in on a flavour that you like from one batch, it could be quite tricky to replicate. Now also in my opinion this is a great way to use leftover whey from other cheese batches that may otherwise go down the drain if you're not, for instance, boiling pasta in it or anything. Now the taste of my cheese personally is a subtle sweet flavour. Now it's almost like a mild caramel, and it is something that I'm definitely going to be looking forward to trying again with different wheys from different cheeses, because I'm not always just boiling the pasta in the whey. A lot of the time it will unfortunately end up going down the drain. But anyway, that wraps up this week's video. As always, if you like what you saw, let me know down below with a like and a comment. If you are new here, feel free to subscribe for free weekly cooking content, and I will see you all again next week. Thanks for watching.